Can everyone hear me? I'm not one for the mic either. All right, it's wonderful to be in this room and see so many familiar faces, so many new faces. I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you a little bit better. Nathan, you rocked. I've been privileged enough to be in your presence, in your brilliance twice this year. With the help of your wonderful principal for Anita. So, yeah, I've got high hopes for you, my friend. So, I just want to acknowledge that. I did have like a whole statement prepared, but I want to bring attention to the fact that we had a parent struggle this morning, and regardless of what the setting happens to be, it's a legislative breakfast, if it's school, if it's waiting for the bus, if it's just, too much noise in the cafeteria, that child is allowed to be uncomfortable. What is unacceptable, at least in the eyes of advocates like myself, is anyone feeling that they need to shame that child or that parent. Any need to say that, well, that kid needs to get picked up. We need to take him out of here. No, he needed his mother. When don't we need our mothers? So I want to put that out there because I want to center our perspective on that. Because unfortunately, that's something that a lot of our educators, our administrators, our families are facing. We forget that our children need us. And when we're talking about deregulation, behavior problems, emotionally disturbed, we are talking about children who are struggling, maybe because of a cognitive issue, maybe because they were born that way, but maybe because it is a symptom of an underlying problem. And because we're too busy, because we've got 35 kids in our class, because we've got, 16 different kids who need attention, and we're prioritizing, in the way that we prioritize, these children are being lost in our system, and they're not even given a chance when they come into our program. I want to acknowledge that, Christina Bodie, no matter what title you hold, you will always be prioritizing the comfort of our children first and foremost. And I appreciate you for that. And with that kind of leadership, I do have hope in the DOE. But in terms of the other stakeholders that are in the room, the policymakers, those who are in charge of funding, these are my asks. So for those in state legislation, I ask that you push the governor to re-implement the employee protection provisions for our bus drivers and our bus attendants, because the problem we are seeing with transportation right now is because the workflow is not sustainable. And it's because these drivers don't have protections to their pensions or their benefits. And would you want to continue working in a work field where you were tasked to be responsible for children day in and day out and not even know if you're going to have a pension by the end of it? You wouldn't. So why would we expect that from our bus drivers today? We don't. And that's why we're in the problem that we have today. So putting in sustainable measures like that will help prevent an even further catastrophic environment than what we have right now. I ask our state legislators to please put in legislation to require assistive technology training as part of the New York State Education Department certification for special education. There is so much intervention that can happen when it comes to assistive technology, but because that is not even an evaluation that people give on a normal basis, or when they are given the assistance, the special education teachers don't even know how to use it or even keep it charged. And these are programs and applications that already exist that we are paying for via the DOE that can make such a difference across the board, whether the child has autism, whether they have literacy challenges, whether they have cognitive or regulation challenges. These are applications that can simply be uploaded into smart boards and utilized across every city because it teaches children fundamentally how to process sound and how to process letters and how to bring them together to make words and therefore be able to read. I know I'm speaking your language, Chair Joseph, because as a teacher, you know this. You know this, and I know that it frustrates you as well as Councilmember Denowitz, being from the classroom. You know the technology exists, yet why is it not being readily available in our classrooms? So if we make it a state mandate for certification, that will be something that we can put in preventatively to prevent our children from continuing being unserviced. My other ask is partner with our city to make sure that we continue fully funding universal childcare. We already know across the board, childcare is an essential need, just as much as food and housing. So please partner with us. The bills have been passed. We just need you to make sure you get this funding down to us so that we can make sure that our parents have those supports. And that includes our undocumented families. A whole bunch of others, but I'll connect with all these state legislators later because I know I only have so much time. For our city representatives, I would love if you can pass a bill to require all teachers, administrators, and support staff to take TCI, and for those of you who don't know what that is, that's therapeutic crisis intervention training before being allowed to teach in our classrooms. Because TCI allows for everyone who works with children the ability to recognize crisis, diffuse a situation quickly, and provide a restorative approach to behavior. It is crucial in managing an effective classroom, and it is not mandatory training right now, and it needs to be done. I also ask that you pass a bill to include first aid, to include epilepsy training in the first aid training that is required by the DOE, because we see an increase in that particular population. We know how scary it can look for an adult along with children. If we can easily pass that bill and make sure that that is part of the first aid training, that will help save a lot of lives and help prevent a lot of accidents. Lastly, I would love to have conversations about how we can sustainably fund the programs that are now being funded through federal money to make sure that the programs that we're launching has some legs. Early education and our seed programs that have been crucial in terms of addressing not only the sensory issues that our children have already displayed, but also to supplement services that unfortunately we can't provide because of staffing. These programs are essential, and we're looking to expand them for our middle school and high school children as well, because we recognize sensory issues don't stop at 5th grade. For my DOE partners, quick fixes. You know I'm the queen of quick fixes, right? So we have D75 educators who are doing incredible work when it comes to behavior assessments. Why not partner and amplify the training that they're doing and spread it out to the city? Do it district by district. Almost every district has a District 75 program co-located with them, and they are doing this work internally already. I see all my principals nodding their heads. Yeah, we're doing this work. So why not share it out? Why not do them as district professional developments for our general education colleagues? Everyone can benefit from knowing how to recognize crisis and being able to de-escalate it before it becomes an explosion. If you knew the bomb was going to go off, wouldn't you want to know how to put it out before it explodes? And lastly, I just ask that everyone in this room do your due part in recognizing that our children are people and not problems. And unless we change that perspective, we're not going to be able to move forward. And if we can guarantee that everyone will do our part in order to make that incremental change and just switching perspective, broadening it out, then there's hope for us in the DOE and the public school systems. Thank you for listening.